Nama Nama Krishna Pradaya Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Nirvishesha Sunnavadi
Harine
Shri Krishna Caitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Siddhati
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Rama
Yadavaya Namaha
Oh Bhagavan
Srimad Sudan
Mukha Karoti Vajala
Mangalangayate Girim
Yakti Bhagavan Vande
Shri Gurun Dinatarinam
Bhavananda Madhavam
Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram
Hari Om Tat Sat
Hari Om Tat Sat Haribol! Everybody say Haribol! So today we are continuing with the compilation of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya book. She will read the Bengali.
What?
Oh yes, correct.
Read it.
Today we're continuing from the compilation of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya book, and today's chapter is entitled Only the Most Fortunate Can Hear the Four Nectarian Sounds, under the section The Bodily Transformations of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter 17, text 40.
মধুর বিগ্রহ মদনমোহন গোবিন্দ লীলামৃতে 8:5
Translation to the verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, My dear friend, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna has a voice as deep as a cloud resounding in the sky. With the tinkling of his ornaments, he attracts the ears of the gopis. And with the sound of his flute, he attracts even the goddess of fortune and other beautiful women. That personality of Godhead, known as Madan Mohana, whose joking words carry many indications and deep meanings, is increasing the lusty desires of my heart. Purport, this verse is found in the Govinda Lilamrita 8.5.
So this section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
So this section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita,
The final passage.
The final passage.
Called the Antya Lila.
It's called the Antya Lila.
Lord Chaitanya came for three reasons.
Lord Chaitanya came for three reasons.
The first reason was to start the Sankirtan sacrifice.
The first reason was to start the Sankirtan sacrifice.
They did that throughout his life.
He did that throughout his life.
When the devotees of Bengal would come to Jagannath Puri for the Rath Yatra,
When the devotees from Bengal would come to Jagannath Puri for Rath Yatra,
and stay for the 4 months of the rainy season.
and stay for the 4 months of the rainy season.
At that time, Lord Caitanya was doing Sankirtan,
At that time, Lord Chaitanya was doing Sankirtan,
the congregational chanting of the holy names.
the congregational chanting of the holy names.
But when the devotees went back to Bengal after the Kartik month,
When the devotees went back to Bengal after the Kartik month,
he got fully absorbed in the other purposes of his coming.
he got fully absorbed in the other purposes of his coming.
That Ramini Devi had said that although he knew everything, but one thing that he didn't know, Radharani knew, Ramani knew, but he didn't know.
So Rukmini was telling him that he knows everything, but there's one thing he doesn't know, and that Rukmini knows, Radharani knows, but he doesn't know.
So then he asked what that was.
So then he asked what that was.
And she told him that you don't know how much your devotees love you.
So then she told him, you don't know how much your devotees love you,
And in what way we love you.
and in what way we love you.
So he said he'd come in Kali Yuga as a devotee to study these things.
So he said he would come in Kali Yuga as a devotee to study these things.
So he took the bhava, the mood of Radharani,
So he took the bhava, the mood of Radharani,
and the color of Radharani.
and the color of Radharani,
Came as Gauranga.
and came as Gauranga.
Now this part is where Lord Chaitanya is analyzing the mood of Radharani, of the gopis,
So this part is where Lord Chaitanya is analyzing the mood of Radharani, the gopis,
and their love for Lord Krishna.
and their love for Lord Krishna.
And there are 5 rasas.
And so there are 5 rasas:
Neutral rasa,
neutral rasa,
dasya rasa,
dasya rasa,
sakya rasa,
sakya rasa,
vatsalya rasa,
vatsalya rasa,
and madhurya rasa.
and madhurya rasa.
This is now focusing on the madhurya rasa.
And so this, he is now focusing on the madhurya rasa. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, chapter 17, text 41.
শ্লোকার্থ কৃষ্ণের কণ্ঠ ধ্বনি মাধুর্য বর্ণন পুনর্যথা রাগ কণ্ঠের গম্ভীর ধ্বনি নবঘন ধ্বনি যিনি যার গুণে কোকিলোলা যায় তারও এক শ্রুতিকোণে ডুবায় জগতের কানে পুন কান বাহরি নাই।
Krishna's deep voice is more resonant than newly arrived clouds, and his sweet song defeats even the sweet voice of the cuckoo. Indeed, his song is so sweet that even one particle of its sound can inundate the entire world. If such a particle enters one's ear, one is immediately bereft of all other types of hearing.
With history, how one yogi was meditating in a cave
There is a history how one yogi was meditating in a cave
in one of the Himalayan mountains.
in the Himalayan mountains.
And somehow he heard the flute playing or the song sung by Lord Krishna.
And somehow he heard the flute playing or the song sung by Lord Krishna.
And once it entered into his ear, then so he became like mad.
So once it entered into his ear, then he became like mad.
He wanted to hit his head on the rock.
He wanted to hit his head on the rock.
He became very impatient.
He became very impatient. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anjalila, chapter 17, text 42.
কহ সখী কি করি উপায় কৃষ্ণেরও সে শব্দ গুণে হরিলে আমারও কানে এবে না পায় তৃষ্ণায় মরি যায়
My dear friend, please tell me what to do. My ears have been plundered by the qualities of Krishna's sound. Now, however, I cannot hear his transcendental sound, and I am almost dead for want of it.
So, Krishna, he would attract the ears, the minds of the devotees in Vraja.
So Krishna, he would attract the ears, the minds of the devotees of Vraja.
And then they were deprived of Krishna's association.
And then when they were deprived of Krishna's association,
When they went to Mathura and freed Devaki and Vasudev,
when he went to Mathura and freed Devaki and Vasudev,
and went to Dwarka,
he went to Dwarka,
the devotees in Vraja thought they were going to die.
the devotees of Vraja thought they were going to die.
For such separation.
They were in such separation. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anjalila, chapter 17, text 43.
কৃষ্ণের নূপুর ধ্বনি মাধুর্য বর্ণন নূপুর কিঙ্কিনী ধ্বনি হংস সারস্য যিনি কঙ্কন ধ্বনি চটকেলা যায়
Should she repeat? Okay. Translation. Okay, it goes on.
কৃষ্ণ একবার যেই শুনে ব্যাপী রহে তারও কানে অন্য শব্দ সে কানে না যায়
The tinkling of Krishna's ankle bells surpasses the songs of even the swan and crane, and the sound of his bangles puts the singing of the Chataka bird to shame. Having allowed these sounds to enter the ears even once, one cannot tolerate hearing anything else.
So, Krishna, the word Krishna means all attractive, reservoir of all pleasure.
So the word Krishna means all attractive, the reservoir of all pleasure.
Once one has awakened their Krishna consciousness,
And once one has awakened their Krishna consciousness,
and no other thing will substitute it.
and there is no other thing which will substitute.
So,
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anjalila, chapter 17, text 44.
কৃষ্ণের বচন মাধুর্য বর্ণন সে শ্রীমুখ ভাষিত অমৃত হইতে পরামৃত স্মিত কর্পূর তাহাতে মিশ্রিত শব্দ অর্থ দুই শক্তি নানা রস করে ব্যক্তি প্রত্যক্ষর নর্ম বিভূষিত
Krishna's speech is far sweeter than nectar. Each of his jubilant words is full of meaning. And when his speech mixes with his smile, which is like camphor, the resultant sound and the deep meaning of Krishna's words create various transcendental mellows.
we cannot imagine the speech of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
We cannot imagine the speech of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
He speaks, he's a person,
He speaks, he's a person,
and he's so attractive that his voice, his ankle bells, ornaments, everything
He's so attractive that his voice, ankle bells, and everything
attracts one's mind.
attracts one's mind.
So the devotee, especially the Rajarajis, they appreciate Krishna's natural beauty.
So the devotees, especially the Brajabasis, they appreciate Krishna's natural beauty.
And they're never satiated by it.
And they are never satiated by it.
So they can speak, remembering all the aspects of Krishna's speech, his
So they can speak, remembering all the aspects of Krishna's speech,
threefold ending form, everything about Krishna.
his threefold bending form, everything about Krishna.
They love him.
They love him.
And in this love, they feel the most intense natural ecstasy.
And in this love, they feel the most intense natural ecstasy. Shri Caitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter 17, text 45.
সে অমৃতেরও এককণ কর্ণচকর জীবন কর্ণচকর জিয়ে সেই আসে ভাগ্যবশে কভু পায় অভাগ্যে কভু না পায় না পাইলে মরমে পিয়াসে
One particle of that transcendental, blissful nectar is the life and soul of the ear, which is like a chakora bird that lives in hope of tasting that nectar. Sometimes, by good fortune, the bird can taste it, but at other times he unfortunately cannot and therefore almost dies of thirst.
A chakra bird, a bird that only drinks rainwater from a cloud.
The chakora bird is a bird that only drinks rainwater from a cloud.
And if there's a drought and no rain cloud, then he gets no water.
And if there's a drought and no rain cloud, then he gets no water.
And he almost dies of thirst, of starvation.
Then he almost dies of thirst, of starvation.
So the comparison is given a devotee who tastes the nectar of Krishna's transcendental sounds.
So the comparison is given that if a devotee tastes the nectar of Krishna's transcendental sounds,
They're like a chakra bird that just want to hear more and more.
they're like a chakora bird who just want to hear more and more.
Being deprived of that, they almost die of thirst.
Being deprived of that, they almost die of thirst. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter 17, text 46.
বেণুধ্বনি মাধুর্য বর্ণন যে বা বেণু কলধ্বনি একবার তাহা শুনে জগন্নারী চিত্ত আউলায় নিবিবন্ধ পড়ে খসি বিনামূলে হয় দাসী বাউলি হইয়া কৃষ্ণ পাশে ধায়
The transcendental vibration of Krishna's flute disturbs the heart of women all over the world, even if they hear it only once. Thus, their fastened belts become loose, and these women become the unpaid maidservants of Krishna. Indeed, they run towards Krishna exactly like mad women.
So this one chapter is just explaining Krishna's sound.
So, this one chapter is just explaining Krishna's sound.
Different aspects of Krishna are explained in different chapters.
So, different aspects of Krishna are explained in different chapters.
Now this chapter is focusing how wonderful are the sounds that come from Krishna.
And this chapter is explaining how wonderful the sounds are that are coming from Krishna.
His voice, his flute, his ornaments,
his voice, his flute, his ornaments.
and in Raja, the women are especially there because of their eternal relationship
In,
with
Vra-
Krishna.
in Vraja, the women are there especially because of their eternal relationship with Krishna.
Krishna had no desire.
Krishna had no desire.
He's transcendental.
He's transcendental.
But he satisfies his devotees by giving his transcendental association.
But he satisfies his devotees by giving his transcendental association. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Anja Lila, chapter 17, text 47.
লক্ষ্মীরও কৃষ্ণ মাধুর্য সাধনে লোভ কিন্তু অসামর্থ্য যে বা লক্ষ্মী ঠাকুরানী তেহ যে কাকুলি শুনি কৃষ্ণ পাশ আইসে প্রত্যাশায় না পায় কৃষ্ণেরও সঙ্গ বাড়ে তৃষ্ণা রঙ্গ তপ করে তবু নাহি পায়.
When she hears the vibration of Krishna's flute, even the goddess of fortune comes to him, greatly hoping for his association. But nevertheless, she does not get it. When the waves of thirst for his association increase, she performs austerities, but still she cannot meet him.
Actually, is the eternal consort of Krishna's form as Narayana.
Lakshmi is the eternal consort of Krishna's form as Narayana.
And therefore, she always has a point of vision is very opulent.
And therefore, she always has, from a point of vision, she is very opulent.
And Raja, the devotees, they may or may not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
In Vraja, the Brijvasis, they may or may not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
But it's not very important to them.
But it's not very important to them.
The love for Krishna is unconditional.
Their love for Krishna is unconditional.
And since Lakshmi has this opulent vision,
And since Lakshmi has this opulent vision, she didn't fit in.
she can achieve Krishna's association even though she did tapasya
She couldn't achieve Krishna's association even when she did tapasya
to get it.
to get it.
This shows that Narayana is a part of Krishna.
This shows that Narayana is a part of Krishna.
Because if he was the supreme, then whatever Lakshmi wanted, he could get.
Because if he was the supreme, then whatever Lakshmi wanted, she could get.
But since Krishna is the supreme, then Lakshmi was refused.
But since Krishna is supreme, then Lakshmi was refused. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Anjalila, chapter 17, text 48.
কৃষ্ণ সেবাবিহীন কর্ণের গ্রহণ এই শব্দামৃতচারী যার হয় ভাগ্য ভারী সেই কর্ণে ইহা করে পান ইহা যে ইনাহি শুনে সে কানো জন্মিল কেনে কানা করি সমসেই কান.
Only the most fortunate can hear these four nectarian sounds: Krishna's words, the tinkling of his ankle bells and bangles, his voice and the vibration of his flute. If one does not hear these sounds, his ears are as useless as small conch shells with holes.
So, the real purpose of ears is to hear these four transcendental sounds.
So the real purpose of ears is to hear these four transcendental sounds.
And by practicing bhakti yoga,
And by practicing bhakti yoga,
by chanting Hare Krishna,
and by chanting Hare Krishna,
gradually one awakens the desire to be with Krishna.
gradually one awakens that desire to be with Krishna.
They can hear these four things.
And they could hear these four things:
Krishna's words,
Krishna's words,
ankle bells and bangles,
the tinkling of his ankle bells and bangles,
his voice,
his voice,
and the vibration of his flute.
and the vibration of his flute.
So here, the author is saying they're not hearing these things.
So here the author is saying if they are not hearing these things,
Then our ears are not fulfilling their actual purpose.
our ears are not fulfilling their actual purpose. Thus ends the chapter entitled, Only the Most Fortunate Can Hear the Four Nectarian Sounds, under the section, The Transcendental Madness of Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu.
Is Mr. Brandon here?
Is Mr. Pandit here?
He's an ENT specialist.
He's an ENT specialist.
But does he know about this Nectarian sounds?
Does he know? But does he know about these nectarian sounds? Question.
He can ask your patients
You can ask your patients
if they've heard these four Nectarian sounds.
if they've heard these four nectarian sounds.
I'd like to welcome you here.
I'd like to give you a garland. Haribo.
Your family here?
This is Lord Jagannath's toothbrush from Jagannath Puri. They use it in the rituals every day.
We both also went to Brown University. My daughter just graduated from Brown.
My daughter just graduated from Brown.
Huh?
My daughter just graduated from Brown.
We both went to Brown University.
So you both went to the same university.
I never graduated. I didn't graduate.
I went to Brown's. I didn't graduate.
I joined Prabhupada.
I joined Prabhupada.
I'll take a family picture. Come on, this one for his wife.
Could you introduce Sarvajan? Who are they?
Guruma knows.
I don't know.
No.
Raju Pandit doctor. For the son.
You don't know that?
I have to give them one more. You take the old one. Yeah. Maha one. Okay, so come. Good much. Haribo, that's for you. Yeah. He was so gracious when Guru Maharaj went to his clinic. He immediately gave the appointment, took care of Guru Maharaj, and did him a charge in it.
All the technicians and all this took blessing.
Yes.
All the technicians, they always take blessings.
Yes, all of them. And he got nourishing the oil also. Haribol. Thank you.
Any question?
Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my
Hare
respectful
Krishna.
obeisances at your lotus feet. Guru Maharaj, we have heard through Srimad Bhagavatam how Krishna appears, how he has curly hair, man muskan, and how he walks. But I've always been curious how his voice sounds like, how he speaks. I've never come across, maybe I have not come across how Krishna, how his voice he hears like. Can you give me an idea, Guru Maharaj, how that is?
Says only the most fortunate.
It says only the most fortunate.
So you would know, Guru Maharaj.
In other words, so we should be so fortunate that we can hear Krishna's voice.
I mean, in other
His
words,
song.
we should be so fortunate that we could hear Krishna's voice, his song,
His flute,
his flute,
his ornaments.
his ornaments.
Think how fortunate the Brajavasis were. They could hear Krishna talking.
Think of how
Singing.
fortunate the Brajbasis were. They could hear Krishna's talking and singing,
His ankle bells,
his ankle bells,
his flute playing.
his flute playing.
Even for a minute, and we think, "Wow, I'd like to hear that."
Even for a minute, they'd think, "Oh, I'd like to hear that."
That's the one desire that leads us back to the spiritual world.
That one desire, then we go back to the spiritual world.
Unfortunately, people are thinking other things.
Unfortunately, people are thinking other things.
And how we take birth after birth after birth
Now we take birth after birth after birth
in this material world,
in this material world,
thinking that this thing will make me happy.
thinking that this other thing will make me happy.
Then that doesn't make us happy, we'll think of something else.
Then that doesn't make me happy, then we think of something else.
I heard that there's some, for some quantity, I don't know how much, they'll freeze your body
I heard that there's some kind of quantity, I don't know how much, but they will freeze your body.
and then when the scientists find out how to bring the dead body back to life,
Then when the scientists find out how to bring the dead back to life,
they'll do it.
they'll do it.
It's all like posted a check.
It's not like post-dated
It's
check.
all like,
It's all like post-dated check.
actually,
Excuse
like
me.
the Vedas tell us, life comes from life.
Actually, the Vedas tell us life comes from life.
That the life is in the body. Body is beautiful to look at.
As
Nice.
long as the life is in the body is beautiful to look at
Because of the living force.
because of the living force,
the Atma.
the Atma.
And it's not some material thing you can adjust.
It's not some material thing you can adjust.
All these rich people, scientists, they don't know what the very basic ABCs.
But all these
Of
rich
spiritual
people,
life.
the scientists, they don't know the basic ABCs of spiritual life.
Body and machine.
The body's a machine.
We need doctors to correct the machine,
We need doctors to correct the machine.
but the doctors can't put life back into a dead body.
But the doctors can't put life back into a dead body.
They're saying, "Give me your money, I'll feed the body." And the doctors figure it out.
Then they're
I'll
saying,
raise you.
give me your money, we'll freeze the body, and then when the doctors figure it out, we'll give them life.
Oh, this is a blah.
So this is a
bluff.
bluff.
And someone, Prabhupada was in one village in India, and he gave a simple example.
So Srila Prabhupada was in one village in India and he gave a simple example.
He said, say somebody's grandfather dies.
He said, say somebody's grandfather dies.
His wife is crying, my husband has left.
His wife is crying, my husband has left.
His sons and daughters are crying, our father has left.
His sons and daughters are crying, my father has left.
The granddaughters or grandchildren,
The granddaughters or
crying.
grandchildren are
my
crying.
grandfather is gone.
My grandfather is gone.
In the village, everybody according to their relationship,
And in the village, everyone according to their relationship,
they're lamenting that
they're
he's gone, he's
lamenting, he has gone, he has gone.
gone. The Brahman asked them, who is gone?
Then Srila Prabhupada asked him, who has gone?
Same body is there,
Same body's there,
same hair is there,
same hair is
same
there,
hands.
same hands.
Who's gone?
So who's gone?
Everybody lamenting that he's gone.
Everyone is lamenting that he's
But
gone.
who's gone?
But who's gone?
That's actually the Atma, the soul is gone.
But actually, it's the Atma, the soul is gone.
And that the soul there, body is alive.
When the soul is there, the body is alive.
The soul is not there, body is dead.
The soul is not there, the body is dead.
So, that's the unfortunate thing.
That's the unfortunate thing.
And people don't know these basic things of spiritual life.
People don't know these basic things of spiritual life.
My poor ashram mother, she visited India
My Purva ashram mother, she visited India
and she came to Prabhupada.
and she came to Srila Prabhupada.
She gave him roses every day.
She gave him roses every day.
And I was surprised that Prabhupada was speaking to her about living force.
I was kind of surprised that Srila Prabhupada was speaking to her about the living force
It was such a simple language,
in such a simple language.
living force.
The living force.
I never heard Prabhupada say that. We hear Atma.
I mean, I never heard Srila Prabhupada say like that. Usually we hear Atma and things.
But he was saying, living force, you are the living force.
He was saying the living force. You are the living force
In the body.
in the body.
When you leave the body, the living force leaves the body.
When you
Body
leave the
dead.
body, the living force leaves the body, then it is dead.
I heard Disney or somebody, they have their body frozen,
I heard Disney or somebody had their body frozen,
and then the heirs start fighting.
and then the
Who
heirs
gets the
started
inheritance?
fighting. Who's going to inherit us?
And some said, maybe he'll come back to life.
Maybe, and then someone said, maybe he'll come back to life.
A big fight, someone pulled the cord.
So a big fight, and then someone pulled the cord.
He was running and then, all right,
He was rotting, and then, all right.
I can take his money.
So then they could take his money.
Other question?
Any other question?
Our guest,
Our guest, any question?
Panditji.
Panditji? Any?
question?
So I live in New York now. I recently,
New York now.
Ah,
Recently.
and one thing about New York is lots of people, lots of events, lots of noise, lots of money. Oh. And I'm 25 years old now, and one of the things I'm thinking about is understanding how to balance living in that materialistic world and having accomplishments and meeting people and networking, but also balancing living a peaceful, spiritual, fulfilling life. How do I, at 25, who is ambitious and wants to serve my community, but also not be attached
How do
to...
I, at 25, who wants to serve my community and also
not be attached to so many things?
not be attached to so many things?
How do I find that balance?
How do I find that balance?
Lord Caitanya, he told many people that they should keep their heart on Krishna.
Lord Chaitanya, he told many people that they should keep their heart on Krishna,
But they should do their material activities in a very responsible way.
but they should do their material activities in a very responsible way.
He gave an example that say a married woman has another lover
So
than her husband.
he gave an example that say a married woman has another lover than her husband.
And so she doesn't want to be discovered, and she does her activities very carefully.
And so she doesn't want to be discovered, and so she does her activities very carefully.
Household activities are very good,
Household activities are very good,
but her mind is always thinking about her lover.
but her mind is always thinking about her lover.
So Lord Chaitanya advised, keep your mind on Krishna,
So Lord Chaitanya advises, keep your mind on Krishna,
but do your material activities outwardly in a very responsible way.
but do your material activities outwardly in a very responsible way.
That's how he advised to balance the things.
That's how he advised to balance
I
things.
found like when we first joined Krishna consciousness in 1968,
I found that when we first joined in 1968,
we were chanting on the street,
we were chanting on the street,
and you'd see people walking by and they'd react in different ways.
we'd see people walking by and they'd react in different ways.
And you're somehow, we were in a different atmosphere.
We were in a different atmosphere.
And you could see all the mental trips and things that people were going through.
We could see all the mental trips and things that people were going through.
And so, being in New York, you have a lot of people, but you can understand what is the real purpose of life.
And being in New York, you meet with lots of people, but you can understand what is the real purpose of life.
And while you're in this world, in this life,
While you're in this world, in this life,
you have to do things to make your family work.
you have to do things to make your family work.
But ultimately, you want to go back to the spiritual world.
But ultimately, you want to go back to the spiritual world.
And so, that way, you keep your mind on Krishna.
So in that way, you keep your mind on Krishna.
Thank you.
I have a question. So I was talking to Dr. Vinay.
I have a question also. I was talking to Dr. Vinay.
Oh,
And he was telling me how when you had this stroke, you had a choice.
He was telling me that when you had this stroke in 2008, you had a choice
To join Krishna or to serve his mission here?
To join Krishna or to serve his mission, continue to serve his mission here?
Is there anything about that experience that you can share?
Is there anything about that experience that you could share?
Of course, I joined in '68,
Of course, I joined in '68,
and at that time, I thought my parents would be very happy.
At that time, I thought my parents would be very happy.
I called up my mother. She tried to convince me to be a Christian priest.
I called up my father.
My mother.
My mother, she tried to convince me to be a Christian priest,
And she came to see me.
but she came to see me.
I called my father up.
I called my father
My
up,
Purva
my
father.
Purva Ashram father,
And he was very angry.
and he was very angry.
He said, "You come back immediately.
He said, "You come back
I'm
immediately.
going to send you to the army.
I'm going to send you to the army.
You'll die in Vietnam."
You'll die in Vietnam."
I asked Father, what should I do?
So I asked, I asked Srila Prabhupada, what shall I do?
He said, better you join Krishna's army.
He said, better you join Krishna's army.
So I did that, and I've been in his army ever since.
So I did that, and I've been in his army ever since.
2008, I had a stroke,
So in 2008, I had a stroke,
and Bhakti Churu Maharaj and others, they told me that I should stay.
So Bhakti Churu Maharaj and others, they told me that I should stay.
I wanted to see the Temple Vedic Planetarium and many services given by Prabhupada.
I wanted that the Temple of the Vedic Planetarium and many other services given by Srila Prabhupada,
And I wanted to do those.
and I wanted to do those.
Krishna somehow, the doctors, they said that I'll die.
I mean, the doctors, they said that I will die.
99%.
99%.
And if I 1% lived, I'd be a vegetable.
And that if I had 1% that I'd live, I'd be a vegetable.
And what? Somehow by Krishna's mercy, I'm still able to talk.
But somehow, by Krishna's mercy, I'm still able to talk.
I'm able to think.
I'm able to think.
I can't walk too.
I can't walk too much.
What? And I'm very able to appreciate this wonderful instructions of Lord Chaitanya.
And I'm very able to appreciate the instructions given by Lord Chaitanya.
I'm combining all the books on Lord Chaitanya to bring them into one.
So I'm compiling all the books of Lord Chaitanya to bring them into one.
And that people can, in English, understand about Lord Chaitanya.
So that people in English could understand about Lord Chaitanya.
I don't know how long Krishna will keep me here.
So I don't know how long Krishna will keep me here.
I do. I'm doing a therapy now. I take the second and last therapy for my skin cancer.
So I'm doing therapy now. I'm taking the second to the last the skin cancer therapy.
Wednesday is supposed to be the last.
Wednesday is supposed to be the last.
When they said it, after that I was really starting to get better.
Then after that, then I will gradually start to get better.
So I was asked at the Dallas Sadhu Sangha
So I was asked to join the Dallas Sadhu Sangha
by Sachinanda Maharaj.
by Sachinandan Maharaj.
He said, "How are you?"
He said, "How are you?"
I said, "Well, how do you mean? You mean materially or spiritually?"
So I said, "Well, what do you mean, materially or spiritually?"
Materially, had a stroke,
Materially, I had a stroke.
I'm wheelchair
I'm
bound,
wheelchair bound.
I a liver and a kidney
I had a
transplant,
liver and a kidney transplant,
skin cancer.
skin cancer.
I mean, materially, I'm a wreck.
Materially, I'm materially a wreck.
And but spiritually, I'm very happy
But spiritually, I'm very happy.
that I some people say that action speaks louder than words.
Some people say that action speaks louder than words.
But so many people have no problem. I mean, most people. I had to sit, although I sit on the airplane, and the last one in, the last one out.
Most people have no problems. I have to sit like in the airplane, I'm like the last one in, and then I'm the last one out.
First one.
First one.
First one in.
First one in, last one out.
Anyway, this material world is not a very nice place.
Anyways, this material world is not a very nice place.
But when you're young, you don't think that way.
But when you're young, you don't think that way.
But this, how Lord Caitanya, he was so appreciative of the devotees of Rajaram,
How Lord Chaitanya, he was so appreciative of devotees in Brajadham,
how they were Krishna conscious.
how they were Krishna conscious.
That happiness is incomparable.
That happiness is incomparable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. He's thanking you. Pandit.
Any other questions?
Any other questions from Guru Maharaj's?
All right.
Mahaprabhu Jagadish Prabhu has a question.
Hare Krishna.
Last question.
Last question.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances at your lotus feet.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisance.
Accept it. Accept it.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, in today's class, you talked about hearing Krishna's word.
Today's class you talked about hearing Krishna's words.
Sometimes when we read Bhagavatam or read CC, like we don't get that nectar as much, but when we listen to Srila Prabhupada or to you speak,
So sometimes we don't get that much like ecstasy,
Nectar.
when we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita or Bhagavatam as much as when we would be hearing from Srila Prabhupada or from you.
so which is better, reading alone or listening to Guru and Srila Prabhupada, or both are equally important?
Hearing and the association of devotees is the best,
Hearing in the association of devotees is best
because then we can get a taste
because then we can get a taste
what somehow or another have to read, have to assimilate,
But somehow or another, we have to read, we have to assimilate.
and it's not that every time we can hear classes
It's not that every time we could hear classes
I encourage people to read Srila Prabhupada's books.
We encourage people to read Srila Prabhupada's books.
I've been encouraging devotees to read his books,
I've been encouraging devotees to read his books,
and they have degrees.
and they have degrees.
Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta,
Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta,
Bhakti Sarvama.
Bhakti Sarvabhauma.
And some young people have got the degrees already.
Some young people have read and already got the degrees.
I
already.
read the books many times.
I read the books many times.
To get my first initiation, Prabhupada said I had to read Bhagavad Gita 10 times.
To get first initiation, Prabhupada said I had to read the Bhagavad Gita 10 times.
So I say that people, they want initiation, they said, read Bhagavad Gita twice.
So I say that when people want initiation, I say read Bhagavad Gita twice.
And then people complain, say, I'll do it later.
Even then, people complain or say, I'll do it later.
Give me initiation now.
Give me initiation
I'll
now.
finish the book in
I'll
1 year.
finish the book within 1 year.
But actually, they offered me a free honorary degree.
So they offered me a free honorary degree.
But I said if I take a free degree, that'll be a good example.
But I said, if I take a free degree, that won't be a good example.
I'll take the test.
I'll take the test.
And I got my Bhakti Vaibhav degree.
I got my Bhakti Vaibhav degree.
Now they have a summative exam.
Now they have a summative exam.
You can take it without going through the whole course.
You can take it without going through the whole course.
But I didn't do that.
But I didn't do that.
They didn't have that at that time.
They didn't have that at that time.
I took each canto,
I took through each canto.
and I got an A, A plus.
I got an A and A plus.
I started on my Bhakti Vedanta degree,
So I started on my Bhakti Vedanta degree,
but I only did the 7th chapter,
but
7th canto.
I've only did up to the 7th canto.
I'm pretty busy here.
I'm pretty busy here.
So, I have to quickly, because many devotees are reading and moving ahead, I have to hurry up quick.
I have to quickly do it because many devotees are reading and moving ahead. I have to quickly do it.
But every night, somebody reads to me around the 10th canto now,
So every night someone reads to me. I'm at the 10th canto now.
and 10th canto, 11th chapter.
10th canto, 11th chapter.
So I hear every night. I get class in the evening.
So I hear every night, and then I give class every evening.
I like that. Hare Krishna.
So like that, Hare Krishna. So those who want a blessing, Prabhus can,
Thank you.
can go on the left and ladies on the right.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. I need your blessings to increase my reading sadhana.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. I need your blessings to increase my reading sadhana. Can you put the
Touch this, I'll distribute everybody.
Yes.
So, and now, so,
Someone will hand out the oranges. touched by Guru Maharaj. Lotus hand.
Actually, coming through after the blessing, let them take the blessing, isn't it?
You can come forward, get a blessing, and get a Mahaprasad.
Yeah, now it is one.
Come. Yes, Guru Maharaj. She was reading the Bengal today. What's her name again? Deepti Radha Devi Dasi.
Yeah.
Okay, try to organize and hurry up, if possible. Come, all Mataji's. As they say in the flights, quickly and safely.
Yeah, take it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,